Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. You're listening to Cyber FM. I'm your host, Arius Thomas, and this is today's Cybersecurity Report, being brought to you by the RSSH Delivery Company, New York's exclusive delivery option.
Listening to Cyber FM, hosted by Arius Thomas.
Welcome to Cyber FM. I'm your host, Arius Thomas, and I'm glad that you're here. Today is Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. This is the show dedicated to reporting on cyber warfare, the daily battles being fought over your data, your money, and your machines. And today we've got 4 stories straight from the front lines. A zero-click flaw in one of the world's most popular AI code editors that lets a poisoned web page take over a developer's machine with no clicks required. A brand new attack where criminals register the fake websites that AI chatbots themselves invent. A single hosting provider blasting 81 million login attempts at Microsoft accounts in 2 weeks. And a widely used remote access tool getting hijacked to install a stealthy remote control Trojan through fake downloads of everyday software. Poison prompts, phantom domains, brute force floods, and Trojanized downloads. 4 battles, 1 front. Let's begin.
Story number 1. 0 clicks, full control. The Cursor ID sandbox break.
We open today with a story that should stop every software developer in their tracks. Researchers at Cato AI Labs have disclosed 2 critical vulnerabilities in Cursor, the AI-powered code editor used by more than half of the Fortune 500. And the attack requires nothing from the victim except letting their own AI assistant do its job. Let me explain the setup because this is genuinely unsettling. Cursor runs the terminal commands its AI agent issues inside a sandbox, a locked box meant to limit what those commands can touch, so one bad instruction can't wreck the whole machine. Researchers named the flaws DuneSlide, and they are about escaping that box entirely. The way is in prompt injection, and there's no click to fall for and no approval box to ignore. The attacker never types anything from your cursor directly. Instead, they plant hidden instructions inside something your AI agent reads on your behalf, like a connected service through a tool integration protocol, or even an ordinary page returned by a web search. Here's how that trap actually springs. One of the 2 flaws abuses an optional setting on the agent's command tool, which is the working folder a command runs from. And when a hidden instruction points that folder somewhere it shouldn't, Cursor adds a new path to its trusted list without asking questions, letting the attacker overwrite the sandbox's own safety file and strip protection from every command that follows. The second flaw abuses a safety check that resolves shortcuts to confirm a file destination is safe. And when that check fails for any reason, Cursor's fallback is to simply trust the unverified shortcut anyway. Both flaws score a striking 9.8 out of 10 in severity. The good news, a fix already exists, which was patched back in April. The bad news, researchers say this is the latest in a running pattern of similar bugs across other AI coding tools, and they're warning it's a structural problem, not a one-off. So here's the takeaway, and it's essential for anyone using an AI coding assistant. If you use Cursor, confirm you're running the current patched version immediately. This is not optional. More broadly, treat any AI coding agent as something that can be manipulated by content it reads on your behalf, not just by things you type. Be cautious about what repositories, websites, and connected services your agent is allowed to pull information from unsupervised. And the broader lesson in this new era of cyber warfare, the smartest coding assistant in the world can be turned against the very developer it's supposed to help, and it never even has to ask permission first.
Story number 2, the website your chatbot made up. Phantom squatting.
Story number 2 is one of the strangest and most creative attacks we've covered on this show, because the vulnerability isn't in any piece of software. It's in the way AI chatbots talk. Researchers at Palo Alto Network's Unit 42 have identified a new attack class they call phantom squatting, and it turns an AI model's own mistake into a criminal's phishing infrastructure. Here's the discovery that kicked this off. Large language models routinely make up web addresses, confidently handing back a domain that looks exactly like something a real company would own, except that company never registered it. Researchers ran a massive test. asking AI models hundreds of thousands of questions about hundreds of well-known brands, and the models produced over 2 million invented links. More than 13,000 of those links were already tied to known malicious websites, and researchers found roughly 250,000 invented domains still sitting completely unclaimed, free for anyone to grab. And that's exactly the opportunity criminals have started exploiting. When a chatbot invents a domain that doesn't exist yet, whoever registers it first inherits all the trust a person places in that AI's answer. No phishing email needed, no malicious ad required. In one documented case, researchers flagged a fake postal service domain as high risk 23 days before an attacker actually registered it and built a full convincing phishing kit behind it, using an AI coding assistant to help build the very trap. In another case, an attacker built a fake banking-style app around a hallucinated domain, complete with a fabricated 5-star rating and a fake claim of millions of users. What makes this especially dangerous is that these domains are brand new. No track record, no blacklist entry, nothing for your antivirus or spam filter to flag. So here's the takeaway, and it applies to everyone increasingly leaning on AI tools for answer. Never trust a link just because an AI handed it to you. Before you enter a password or download anything, confirm you're on the real official website. If you're a developer, don't let an AI coding assistant automatically fetch or execute content from a link it generated without a human checking it first. The mistake isn't yours, it's the AI's, and the criminals are now waiting on the other side of that mistake before you ever get there.
Story number 3. 81 million knocks on the door. The Azure password spray.
Story number 3 is a brute force battle happening right now, and the scale of it's almost hard to comprehend. Cybersecurity firm Huntress is tracking a massive ongoing password spray campaign against Microsoft's Azure command line interface. And in just 2 weeks, the attackers knocked on the door more than 83 million times. Jesus. Let's get into the numbers because they all tell the story. Between June 12th and June 26th, one threat actor made over 81 million login attempts and successfully broke into at least 78 Microsoft accounts across 64 different organizations. The traffic overwhelmingly traces back to a single internet hosting provider. And here's the detail that should worry every IT department listening. This wasn't random guessing. The attackers were replaying old username and password combinations pulled from prior data breaches, betting correctly that plenty of people never bothered to change a password that was already exposed years ago. Now here's the part that turns this from a simple brute force story into a genuine wake-up call. Many of the organizations hit by this campaign actually had multi-factor authentication in place. It didn't matter. The attackers exploited an outdated authentication method that hands over a username and a password directly without triggering an interactive MFA prompt at all. Essentially a side door that many companies' security policies simply forgot to lock. Some organizations had MFA turned on for specific apps or specific user groups, but not configured to cover this particular login pathway, and the compromised account slipped through a gap nobody realized was still open. Huntress says credential spray attacks like this one have surged more than 155 times over just the past 6 months. So here's the takeaway, especially for IT administrators and business owners running Microsoft 365 environments. Make sure your multi-factor authentication policy genuinely covers all users, all cloud applications, and all client app types, not just the ones you assumed mattered. Disable or restrict outdated authentication flows that bypass modern interactive login checks. And rotate any password that's ever appeared in a prior data breach, because these attackers are betting specifically that you haven't. The broader lesson here is a lock on the front door means nothing if the side door was never installed with one. And 81 million attempts is proof that attackers have all the patience in the world to find it.
Story number 4. Your favorite free software. Weaponized, Asyncrat, and the fake download sites.
And our fourth and final story today is a reminder that sometimes the oldest tricks in the book are still the most effective. Researchers at Kaspersky have uncovered a sprawling campaign that hijacks a legitimate remote access tool to plant a remote access Trojan called Asyncrat. And it's hidden behind some of the most popular free software downloads on the internet. Here's how the scheme works. Attackers built more than 90 fake website domains, localized across 10 different languages, including English, Russian, Chinese, German, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Arabic, designed to rank highly in search results for popular free tools. Things like screen recording software, DNS utilities, and game controller drivers. Someone searching for these everyday programs lands on a convincing fake download page and grabs what looks like a normal installer archive. But that installer is doing something sneaky. It bundles a legitimate, digitally signed Microsoft file along a hidden malicious file, using a technique that tricks the legitimate program into loading the attacker's code as if it were trusted. That code quietly installs a well-known remote access tool, which then sits and waits for further instructions from the attacker, and ultimately deploys async rat, giving the criminal ongoing remote control of the infected machine. Researchers describe it as a massive multi-domain, multi-language campaign with some of the infrastructure dating back to last August, meaning this has been running quietly for the better part of the year. So here's the takeaway, and it's simple. If you remember nothing else from today's show, and just remember everything. If you remember nothing from today's show, only download software directly from the official developer's website or a trusted, verified app store. Never from the first search result or a random third-party download site. If an installer asks you to run something unusual or grants unexpected permissions, stop and verify before proceeding. And if your organization sees a remote access tool appear on a machine that nobody installed on purpose, treat it as compromised and investigate immediately. The universal lesson to close out today's show: the software you already trust is often the exact costume the criminals chose to wear. Today's episode is brought to you by the RSSH Delivery Company, New York's exclusive delivery option. When your package has to get across the city quickly, safely, and in good hands, the RSSH is the name to know. They are New York's exclusive choice and the gold standard in delivery. Every single time you hear us on the air, remember, the RSSH Delivery Company is the reason we're here. When it has to get there right, there is only one name to call. And that's our show for this Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. Let's bring the front lines together, because today's 4 battles all carry the same hard truth. Truth is being exploited at every layer of the system. From AI tools we lean on, to the login screens we assume are locked, to the software downloads we take for granted. A coding assistant that can be hijacked with 0 clicks, a phishing site sitting behind a web address and AI itself made up, 81 million login attempts slipping through an MFA policy with a gap nobody noticed, and a Trojan riding inside the free software download you were sure was safe. The thread running through it all? The criminals aren't breaking down the front door anymore. They're finding the door nobody remembered to lock. So this week, update your AI coding tools without delay. Verify any link an AI hands you before you click it. Audit your MFA policy for gaps in coverage, and only download software from sources you actually trust. In this world, your suspicion is your armor. This has been Cyber FM. I'm your host, Arius Thomas, and this show is brought to you by the RSSH Delivery Company, New York's exclusive delivery option. Stay sharp, stay patched, stay secure. We'll see you next time.
You are listening to Cyber FM, hosted by Arius Thomas.